Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Demon Slayer Episode 2. So yeah, we're finally here with more Demon Slayer. It's been a while. But now that the holidays are over and all that, we can finally get back into it. So in the first episode of Demon Slayer, I kind of noted how it was a little cliche, but was doing it fairly well. The entire concept of it, this ordinary boy ends up losing his family and swears revenge on the monsters that took them is so overdone. I mean, Attack on Titan is a big example of that, of course, from recent years. Um, but it's been done in various other shows as well. And it's just nothing new at this point. It's not a new concept. It's nothing special. The difference here is, of course, that his sister wasn't killed, but in fact turned into a demon herself. And while she is still a demon, he's been able to get her under control because she clearly still cares for him. And yeah, they're working together, basically. So I assume throughout the series we'll get to see her demon powers and fighting ability and whatnot. And he's probably going to have to learn how to train and fight as well. Probably from some, stereotypical old mentor who's probably a hermit. Probably either very wise, very kooky, or both. Yeah, it's a very stereotypical trope at this point. And I mean, hell, if they go against that kind of thing, then I mean that'll be cool. If they're able to like subvert my expectations by not doing the stereotypical route that this would go in at this point, then that would be awesome. But I don't have a lot of hope for that. I'm hoping, though, what I do have hope for is that this series is good no matter what. That it's enjoyable, that it's fun, that Nezuko is adorable enough to keep my attention. Stuff like that. I want to enjoy this series, but with it being so generic with its first episode, I do have worry. I don't necessarily think I'm going to not like it. I don't necessarily think I'm going to drop it. I'm not saying one way or the other at this point. Really, I'm pretty much in the middle ground on this series right now, which is why it hasn't been like huge priority for me to get back to yet. I'm kind of in the middle ground when it comes to it compared to like other shows. Like even Zombieland Saga, I have a little more interest in at this point. But we'll see. We'll see. At this point, with Demon Slayer being a donation reward, if it is dropped, we will just continue to move on because we've still got some donation rewards to go to. But if it's dropped like too early, I feel, then whoever donated it can probably choose a second option, maybe. I don't know. It's just in case. Because I think this series is like, what, 20-something episodes long? So it's like, I don't want to end up dropping it like too like early in and, If that does happen, though, I'm just saying, whoever requested it, which I don't remember who it was, so you'll have to remind me. If I drop it too early in, yeah, you can get something else as a reward instead. Just because that way your reward isn't completely wasted, basically. But hopefully it doesn't come to that, because I'm hoping that it ends up being really good. I would say that those hopes are kind of rooted in people loving this series so much. Some people even naming it one of their favorites of the past decade, since the decade just changed over and all. Um, but it's like that doesn't mean anything to me because my tastes tend to differ pretty greatly from a lot of people's. And what a lot of people find to be good, I a lot of times would find to be bad or straight up terrible, even. So it's like, that's not like exactly a good indicator for me. But again, I'm hoping this is really good. There was that one guy in the first episode, the asshole. I assume he'll be coming back from time to time. I don't know how consistent of a character he'll be, but I'm hoping not. If I'm being honest, he was like the worst thing about the first episode to me. I just couldn't stand him. Um, and that's more from a both personal and entertainment perspective, rather than like a big issue. Because I'm sure you're not supposed to like him, at least not yet. If you do end up liking him, but still. And if you're supposed to like him at this point, then that's a problem. Either way, I know I'm saying all this negative stuff. I know I'm kind of being a negative Nancy here, like talking about like what will happen if I end up dropping this and shit. But it's like I do legitimately want to love this. I want to legitimately love anything I react to. So I'm hoping that this doesn't end up being another weaker show. I'm hoping that this does impress me. But we're going to find out with at least one more episode today. So yeah, I don't know anything about where this is going really. Pretty much all I knew about this was about Nezuko just being a thing. And being cute and being carried in a basket, I guess. That's pretty much it. I have like really no other context for this. I haven't seen it. I haven't like even seen that many clips. I don't have context. So uh we're just gonna get on with this and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So first off, I just noticed that this is made by Ufotable, or UFO Table. I have no idea how it's actually supposed to be pronounced. But this is the same studio that does Fate, if I'm not mistaken. Or at least some of the Fate series. Which I, by the way, don't like. But that explains the honestly great animation, because even though I don't like the Fate shows and think that their story is shit, and characters are shit, yeah, the animation's great. The voice acting, animation, sound design, all of that jazz. And that carries over definitely here. All of that's great in Demon Slayer. So the question is, does the shit story and characters carry over? I don't know yet. The story right now seems very stereotypical, very generic and basic. Like, seriously. I mean, I called the wise old mentor thing because it's so obvious. It's so obvious that was where this was going to head. There was no other way this could go, no other route this could go, like from a stereotypical generic standpoint. It's following all the stereotypes. It's following all the basic steps. And again, it's not doing it as terribly as I've seen some of this kind of stuff done. No, it's definitely not. but I wouldn't say it's doing them exceptionally. It's doing it well enough to where it's not instantly hateable. Let's put it that way. Um, the characters, meanwhile, are also kind of very generic in a way. The main character, it's like I can see why people have compared him to Deku from My Hero Academia. He very much seems like a Deku. He very much seems like a Deku. He's just he's as they put it, way too nice, which I don't think is a thing. But on top of that, he's kind, he's empathetic, he worries about even his opponents and everything, which Deku did earlier on, I feel, just not as much anymore. But yeah, it's just he's that kind of character, and I feel Deku's just way more well done in that regard. Um, Nezuko as a character isn't much of a character. Like, she's cute, sure, but that's about all she has going for her. She's cute and she's a demon. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Like, there's no character to her. Because of her, because of what she is, because of being turned into a demon, she's not allowed to have a personality. She's not allowed to have, well, a character. Because of that, she comes across as boring, honestly. Like, you can't get you can't get a character to work just by making them cute. You can't make a character succeed on cuteness alone. It does not work. Because of it, she comes across as very bland. And so far has just not really interested me. Both the one demon slayer from the first episode and now this this wise old master trope, let's be honest, that's all he is. He's a wise old master trope. These two, they're assholes from what we've seen. Both of them are quite assholes, who both of them seem to think that Tanjiro's kindness is a bad thing, which is fucking stupid. And if they go that route, I'm going to be pissed because I hate that idea that kindness is a weakness. That is a stupid fucking idea. But on top of that, it's just like, let's be honest, he's just a wise old mentor trope. That's all he is right now. Even the fact that he has the same kind of sense of smell thing that Tanjiro has, it's like, oh my god, that is so stereotypical. The idea that he's just like, of course he has that too. Of course. Because the sense of smell seems to be important to Tanjiro, so of course his mentor has to be able to train him in that too, and it makes sense that he would have that. And it seems like it also might have this almost fodder demon of the week kind of thing going on. Maybe. I'm more unclear about that one, to be fair. But it kind of gives me off that kind of sense to it. Either way, just overall thoughts after this second episode. Honestly, not much better. In fact, I'd actually say it dipped a little. My thoughts dipped a little compared to where they were at the end of the first episode. It just seems like it's going in way too many stereotypical routes. It's putting negativity on things that should never have negativity put on them. Like, hell, even in My Hero Academia, Deku's his kindness and his empathy and stuff are never seen as weaknesses. They're very much seen as strengths. And it's like, that's how it should be done. It doesn't keep him from being able to fight his enemies when he needs to, but he still has it. It is not a weakness to be kind. It is not a weakness to have empathy for others, even bad people. But yeah, it really didn't help my feelings on this series so far. Um, it's not to the point where I drop it. It's not. But it is starting to lean down into that path. And I'm really hoping that it starts moving back upward, because if it continues like this, then I'm probably gonna drop it. I will say though, I mentioned earlier like the minor things I knew about the series. There is one thing I forgot to mention. I do know like very, very little, mind you, about the two other characters that I guess joined their team. At least I've seen them. I've seen them in screenshots and art here and there, and I don't have the context behind them. I don't really know them. I know there's this blonde kid, and then there's the one who wears the pig mask. I think I mentioned him in the first reaction, but I know almost nothing about them. I just know they're a thing. And I know apparently the guy in the pig mask is either volatile or meme worthy in some way. That's pretty much all I know, though. I did just forget to mention those. But yeah, I didn't hate it this episode. And I'm not like hating the series so far. There's plenty of other shows where I've just directly hated them after watching an episode or two. This is not that bad yet, but it's not that good either. It's definitely not impressing me, and it's definitely not living up to the hype that people build around it, at least not for me. It just seems very generic at the moment, seems very weak in terms of its story and characters. And I don't see too much actually that investing with it. I'm not invested with it. I'm not excited for it. I'm just kind of there watching. Hopefully it gets better though. Hopefully. Again, it's not bad enough to where I feel like I want to drop it yet. So we're going to continue on and hope to hell that it improves. Because right now, like, this kind of show, this kind of concept is done so much better in shows like Attack on Titan or Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. And it's just not good here. And also, just one last thing before I forget about it again, because I almost did. Tanjiro should be, like, very massively injured right now. And the fact that he doesn't seem to be is really distracting and harmful to my enjoyment of the series. Especially when afterwards it did kind of imply that he is human. That the sense of smell isn't like the sign that he's part demon or something. So if he is full human, those traps should have bruised, broken bones, and possibly killed him. That log alone, the giant log that smashed into the back of his head at full speed like that should have at the very least knocked him completely unconscious and given him a concussion. At the very least. At most, that would have killed him. I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt that he is very durable. But even at very durable for a human, that would have at the very least, again, knocked him senseless. Completely unconscious instantly. And just, yeah. Concussed to hell and back. The bamboo hitting him would have, in the way that it did, would have shattered his ribs. Like, again, bamboo is fucking hard. People don't realize that. Bamboo, especially when snapping at that speed and force, is fucking hard. That thing would have destroyed his ribs, that bamboo stalk. Would have destroyed his ribs. Again, at the very, very least, they would be massively bruised. But at the most, and honestly the more realistic, they would have been shattered. He should not have been able to make it down that mountain after just the log. But after everything else as well, honestly, he should be dead. And again, I mentioned in the reaction, but there's only a certain level where suspension of disbelief can happen. You can only suspend your belief in the actions of a character like this in this kind of show for so long without it becoming ridiculous. Or suspend your disbelief, rather. Because at this point, it's just like, it's completely unrealistic in every way. And I know it's an anime, but he is a human character. And he is meant to be fully human, with the only special thing about him being his sense of smell. If he's supposed to be fully human, then he has to adhere to full human weaknesses. You can't just give him, like, superhuman vulnerability and claim that he's still fully 100% human. Unless it's like a parody series like One Punch Man, where that's literally the joke. That's the only kind of situation where this works, but this isn't. This is a serious shonen. So the fact that he has this superhuman vulnerability, it can't work. From a writing perspective, it can't work. And it really hurts the overall quality of this. So yeah, it's, again, I'm still willing to continue checking this out and hoping it gets better. But there are definitely a lot of things kind of pushing me away from it right now. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, I'm sure this is going to get some dislikes as well for talking negatively about Demon Slayer, talking negatively about a fan favorite show, because, you know, people aren't allowed to have their own opinions. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.